Inside Boxing's Throwdown. I'm Aurelio Martinez, Steven Johnson. And our third segment here, we're going to go ahead and talk about what we can look forward to next weekend, Steve. And we got a decent fight with guys, and then we have the oldies but goodie league. Okay,
that's cool.
For those of you that are 150 years old, you'll remember these guys. Okay.
Oh man.
But anyhow, Steve, start off. Let's talk about the rematch, which seems to be like it's going to be an interesting fight.
Are you talking about Caleb Truax?
Yeah.
Caleb Truax and James DeGale for that IBF World Super Middleweight title rematch from their first fight, where Caleb Truax was over there, went over there in England and pretty much dominated.
Yeah.
No, not pretty much. He did dominate James DeGale, but James DeGale. And I'm giving credence to what he said. You know, he had surgery on his hand.
There was issues. Yep.
And he said he came back too soon. Said he didn't have a right hand at all to use. And I think those of us who watched the fight saw that. But I don't blame that. You know, that's no fault of Caleb Truax.
No.
Okay, he went over there and put it on him.
So,
and an interesting thing
it's
about
going to be over there again?
No. It's going to be it's on the undercard of the Erislandy Lara Jarrett Hurd Showtime fight next Saturday night at the Hard Rock Cafe there in Las Vegas.
Good. Okay.
Hard Rock Hotel and Casino. I'm sorry. And it's Showtime.
Yep.
You know,
yep.
Mayweather Promotions.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what, Caleb Truax, I like him a lot.
Yeah.
You know, I really like him a lot. He's really one of those stories
yeah.
that was good for boxing, but I think he's up against it this time. You know, I think it's unfortunate for him. They had that rematch clause in there. He didn't get a chance to really, you know, enjoy his holding on to the title for a minute because James DeGale's a tough out.
Well,
he's definitely a tough out. Now he says he's ready with no excuses. He even went as far yesterday, Aurelio, to say that if he loses the fight, he's retiring.
Okay, well, yeah, that's a tough statement to do because you always got to be prepared to follow through with a statement like that. Of course, there's always a million excuses that you can use on why you're not going to retire. You know, he was eating meat. My opponent was eating cow meat from Mexico.
Here you go.
Or something. But there's always a million excuses. But
we'll talk about that.
But the only thing I would tell you is Truax has to have some confidence. Okay, now it's over here. It's in his home dirt. It's in Vegas.
Home dirt.
Yeah.
The turf.
Turf.
It's home dirt.
Whatever you want to call it, man. Okay. But what I'm saying, well, they gotta get in there in that ring, get dirty, man. But,
let's talk real quick about that main event. You know, Erislandy Lara. You don't like that because one of the few times that I've been right and you have never really given me my props. I told you that when he fought here in Denver that he was going to be a world champion. Our boy Ronnie Shields was his trainer, and I just liked the way he looked, man. He just had that look about him. And to your credit, you're right. Your thing was about look at the Cuban boxers. They always seem to let us down. Well, you know, Erislandy Lara right now is the current IBF, the IBO, and the WBA world super welterweight champion. Okay, so he's a world titleist. Okay, but he's been kind of fortunate in that they kind of maneuvered him around, the heavy action. But he's still in the mix. I did hear a couple of weeks ago when the Charlo brothers mentioned his name.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and my understanding is that they're sparring partners. They work together, and so I don't know if that fight will ever happen just because of their affiliation with each other. But I expect that to be a good fight. Jarrett Hurd is undefeated, 21-0, so he's no slouch. Okay, that fight should be good. That should be a good fight. But in reference to what you first talked about, the old timers, and I still don't know why you crack on Kenny Lemos about like that, man. But you said 100-something years old. Kenny, he's talking about you. But anyway, you know,
Sergio, you had me going there.
I did.
I had to start thinking. What would I say about Kenny?
You forgot about. But Sergio, the Latin Snake Mora, taking on Alfredo Angulo. Man, these guys are both well past their prime, but they managed to get on this card.
Wait a minute. Who's fighting who again?
Sergio, the Latin Snake Mora. He's fighting Alfredo Angulo.
Oh, okay. I remember them guys. I vaguely do remember them guys. They They were entertaining back in the day. Yeah.
Well, I don't know how they got.
Who's the sponsor of this? Jarrett?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Floyd got them together. Well, Leonard Ellaby. He got them together on this card, and I'm sure, they've got some people that want to see how it goes, but not us.
They do?
Yeah,
They do?
Not us. They're way down there, But no, man, I like the card. The top three, the televised portion of it will be interesting. I expect Erislandy Lara to do his thing. Erislandy Lara, the problem that he has is that he's exciting to a point, but then he's not a finisher. That's his biggest problem, is that he's not a finisher. Okay.
And I think that's where the Cuban fighters really fail when they get into the pro game and they get into that
amateur style of just outpointing.
They get into that where that championship type quality fights, is because they you need to be able to inflict damage, and you need to be able to finish the fight when it happens, and they're more like, okay, I'm gonna keep scoring, I'm gonna keep moving, but the guy on the other side is willing to go in there and take their heads off. So and talent wise, I'm gonna tell you what, I love them. I love the Cuban fighters, because every one of them that came out of that Olympic Cuban program and still do have an abundance of talent, of ring generalship. I mean, it's beauty, but they don't know how to turn it on when to finish it out, when you get a guy in trouble, or to come in with power shots. You have to be able to set and throw these power shots in the pro game, especially when you get to that higher level.
Well, for most of you fans, and we remember, where Lara beat Canelo.
Yeah.
And then at the last few rounds, he was doing this thing of, like you said, just coasting, and there it went. You got to know who you're fighting and who's backing them and know what's going on. So, but he's definitely a talent. I think this fight here, he'll handle Jarrett Hurd. Like I said, man, I love to death Caleb Truax, but I think he's up against it here with a more determined and focused James DeGale than ever.
Yep.
And DeGale had no problem in coming over here. That was never an issue with him. He said, just let my hand heal up so that I can fight. I'll be a two-handed fighter this time, not with just one. So that'll be interesting.
Well, I'm calling Truax to win this fight, and I'm calling Erislandy Lara to win his fight. And on the old timers, well, honestly, I really don't care.
Just the names of them. That's all. But you know what? We got a couple minutes left to rate.
We're gonna have that steak. I got it from Mexico. Okay.
I mean, I'll pass because I don't need to be buffed up anymore. I'm busting out of my clothes already. But let's talk real quick about the what's transpired between Triple G and Canelo.
Okay.
It looks like the fight is off. From all indications we have, the venue has started refunding tickets. All of the live places that were going to show it, closed circuit or whatever you want to call it, television, they've all taken down all their banners. It looks like the Nevada State Athletic Commission is going to show some balls.
Well,
and they're not going to let this happen.
Well, like I mentioned last week's show, they have to. You can't give a suspension to Eric Morales in the past for the same
2 years.
2-year suspension for showing up dirty using clenbuterol. Okay, and then change the game because it's Canelo. Okay?
I think Aurelio, a lot of people were sympathetic to Canelo until they find out that he tested dirty twice.
Yeah.
I think that's what did it. When they said, no, we got one test, then we gave him another one, and he's dirty on him. Their contention, is that, it's just a trace of it, and that's, everybody's got a trace of it. No, everybody doesn't have a trace of it.
No,
okay?
No, it doesn't. And obviously, and I understand the Canelo fans where, they really want to see this fight. And I honestly, the first fight, I picked Triple G to win that fight without a doubt. I mean, this fight here, I was actually leaning toward Canelo because of the younger, he had to learn something in that last fight. I was leaning to this, but all in all, the fans that are Canelo fans, they're upset. They're talking about this and that, but no, you can't. He obviously he tested dirty. He didn't eat a piece of steak that was contaminated. No, see, that doesn't fly. Obviously, you test dirty, you come back and you test again, you retest in a couple of weeks when they gave him the benefit of the doubt, because clenbuterol stays in your system only for a couple of weeks,
time,
you know, 12 days or so, and people know that. Okay, so when they came back and tested him a couple of weeks later, and he still showed up dirty, he was chomping on some steaks. Okay, and I'm not talking about just a serving. He was chomping on some real steaks. If that was the problem, he was having them for lunch, dinner, snacks, everything else. But guys, he's dirty. Okay, he's dirty.
You know what?
And it's a fact. Okay?
He is being so boisterous about it, being boisterous, and then saying that he was going to. Oscar was doing most of the talking. Oscar even incorporated his now, without credibility at all, the Ring magazine, you know, coming up saying, you know, that, oh no, this. It reminded me of Lance Armstrong, you know, how you just deny, and maybe one day he'll come out and say, yeah, I did it. But right now it's just denials are just falling on deaf ears. Nobody really, most boxing fans now, even the ardent Canelo supporters in private will say, it doesn't look good. Okay.
Lance Armstrong, he's the one that's now changed. Or am I talking about a different athlete?
Man, Lance Armstrong is the bike rider, man. Here you go. You know what? This guy here, man, he's something else. Anyway, that's the end of our third and final segment this week. Happy Easter Sunday to everybody. Make sure you eat plenty of, well, I shouldn't say eat plenty of those eggs. Enjoy your Easter eggs. Be careful, though. You know, they have lasting effects sometimes. So be careful.
Go out there and find a lot of eggs.
Yeah.
And make the kids happy. And,
anyway, we'll be back next week, and we might have as a special guest on the show, you know, to be a call-in, either Doug Skeens or Mike Rogers.
Good.
To talk more about this controversy with the Ringside World Championships being canceled.
And stay tuned. We'll have another live show where we'll be accepting calls. So you guys can have a chance to call in, voice your opinion. We'll be having that in the next couple of shows that we have, so that you can call in. Say what you want. Because just like any show, Steve, people are out there watching and they say, wow, he's not asking him this, he's not asking him that.
Oh, there's always going to be that.
So we want to open up the lines. We're going to listen to you, and you can shout out to your views and whatever you want.
There you go.
Okay?
All right.
Till next week. Keep it in hand.
Keep 'em up.